On July 18, 2025, a team of Chinese experts announced the successful identification of a large industrial-grade uranium deposit in the Tarim Basin of Xinjiang. At 1,820 meters deep, nearly 6,000 feet, the discovery is regarded as the world's deepest known sandstone-type uranium mine, according to geological assessments. This development not only advances China's domestic uranium supply capabilities but also raises questions about the country's broader ambitions in nuclear technology and energy independence. The announcement follows the commissioning of a major natural uranium production facility in Ordos, Inner Mongolia, which began yielding its first barrels of processed uranium just days earlier, on July 12. Together, these milestones represent a significant advancement in China's strategic resources for nuclear energy production. One notable aspect of China's uranium strategy is its increasing reliance on in situ leaching, a method considered more environmentally sustainable than conventional mining. This technique involves injecting a mixture of water, carbon dioxide, and oxygen into underground ore bodies. The solution interacts chemically with uranium deposits, bringing the uranium to the surface in a liquid form, which is then processed and recycled. Compared to traditional mining, which often involves large-scale excavation and considerable environmental disruption, in situ methods reduce ecological impact and significantly lower operational costs. The chemical inputs used in the process are minimal and inexpensive, which enhances cost efficiency and makes the technology appealing for long-term use. International uranium prices currently average around $90 per pound, which translates to approximately 700 Chinese yuan per kilogram or about $96 per kilogram USD. Given these market dynamics, China's innovations in uranium extraction could improve domestic energy economics and reduce reliance on foreign suppliers. Uranium plays a central role in both civilian and military nuclear technologies. Low-enriched uranium, typically enriched to around 3% U-235, is used in civilian nuclear reactors for energy generation. In contrast, highly enriched uranium, HEU, which contains over 80% U-235, is primarily used in military applications such as nuclear submarines and strategic weapons. Enrichment levels above 90% are considered weapons grade. While China has stated its uranium development is intended for peaceful use, namely to fuel nuclear power plants and potentially nuclear-powered vessels, its progress in this area is being closely watched by international regulators and security analysts. The country's naval ambitions, including the development of nuclear-powered aircraft carriers and submarines, make a steady uranium supply a national priority. The International Atomic Energy Agency, IAEA, has shown particular interest in China's recent uranium announcements, especially given the geopolitical and strategic sensitivities associated with nuclear materials. While China is a signatory to the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty, NPT, and maintains cooperation with international regulators, the rapid expansion of its uranium production capacity prompts a broader conversation about transparency, regional dynamics, and long-term intentions. The IAEA's concern is not rooted in the legality of uranium mining per se. Many nations produce uranium, but rather in how uranium is enriched and whether strict safeguards are observed. In recent years, tensions have escalated in regions such as the Middle East, where enriched uranium and nuclear technology have become focal points of international negotiations and intelligence sharing. Against this backdrop, new uranium capabilities, especially in a country as strategically positioned and geopolitically influential as China, attract attention by default. The Tarim Basin in Xinjiang is not an easy place to explore, let alone extract resources from. Its terrain resembles a crumpled piece of paper, full of fault lines, folds, and discontinuities. Over 60% of the basin is covered by desert, making exploration difficult. Harsh environmental conditions, including frequent sandstorms and extreme aridity, complicate infrastructure deployment and communication. Traditional uranium prospecting relies on predictable geological formations, often in gently sloped sedimentary basins. In contrast, the Tarim Basin's twisted geological structure had long discouraged extensive exploration. But Chinese geologists applied a complex, infiltration intersection model to target potential uranium deposits. This theory posits that uranium-rich gases rise from deeper layers while uranium-bearing water seeps from above. Where the two intersect, richer bodies may form. The discovery in Tarim is thus the product of years of persistence, innovation, and strategic vision. According to geologists involved in the project, success required mapping out multiple geological layers, high, medium, and low, and cross-referencing these layers with subtle geochemical signals. China's demand for uranium is significant and growing. With over 50 nuclear reactors in operation and more under construction, the country's annual uranium requirement is estimated to exceed 10,000 tons of enriched uranium. However, as of several years ago, domestic production met only around 2,000 tons annually. The remainder had to be imported, primarily from countries such as Kazakhstan, Namibia, Canada, and Australia. China's reliance on imports has always been viewed as a strategic vulnerability. While uranium is not typically subject to immediate trade restrictions, even during diplomatic rifts, secure access to nuclear fuel is considered essential for national resilience. This has motivated China to explore and develop both overseas and domestic reserves aggressively. In fact, China's total estimated uranium resources are believed to exceed 2.8 million tons, though much remains untapped. The country's new discoveries and technological breakthroughs could significantly boost its self-sufficiency in this vital sector. Beyond civilian power generation, uranium is critical for naval propulsion. Nuclear-powered submarines and aircraft carriers require highly enriched uranium to operate without frequent refueling, making them essential assets for countries with extended maritime interests. China's military modernization includes ambitions for a blue-water navy, capable of operating globally. The construction of nuclear-powered carriers, such as the rumored Type 004 and Type 005, hinges on steady uranium supply and reliable enrichment capacity. Without access to domestically sourced uranium, these projects would face logistical and strategic hurdles. The ability to produce and refine uranium domestically provides China with both energy and military autonomy. It reduces exposure to external political pressures and enables longer-term planning for infrastructure, naval development, and strategic deterrence. While nuclear energy is often cited as a low-carbon solution to global energy challenges, uranium extraction has historically posed environmental risks. Traditional mining methods involve surface disturbance, chemical runoff, and long-term ecological damage. However, China's adoption of in-situ leaching marks a significant shift toward more sustainable practices. The method reduces the need for large-scale excavation and surface disruption. It also allows uranium to be extracted from deeper, previously inaccessible geological formations, such as those found in the Tarim Basin. The environmental footprint is minimized, and post-extraction land rehabilitation becomes more manageable. Nonetheless, environmentalists and local communities will likely continue to demand transparency and monitoring to ensure that groundwater and ecosystems remain protected. While China's uranium production capabilities are growing, the global supply chain for nuclear fuel remains interconnected. Kazakhstan, for example, holds about 1/4 of the world's proven uranium reserves. Australia, Canada, and Russia also remain key players. China has invested heavily in overseas uranium mining projects, including in Central Asia and Africa. However, supply chains have vulnerabilities. Political instability, trade tensions, or logistical delays could disrupt deliveries. This underlines the importance of domestic exploration and production. The developments in Xinjiang and Inner Mongolia could significantly shift the dynamics of these supply chains. As China becomes more self-reliant, it may also become a more influential actor in global uranium pricing and supply agreements. China's discovery of a deep, industrial-grade uranium deposit in the Tarim Basin is more than a geological achievement. It is a strategic milestone. It represents a convergence of innovation, energy planning, and long-term national vision. With nuclear power positioned as a cornerstone of China's low-carbon future, and with military applications also in play, securing a reliable uranium supply is essential. For international observers, the key concern is not the act of mining itself, but what comes next, how the uranium will be used, whether safeguards are in place, and how transparent the process will be. As China accelerates its capabilities, the balance of influence in global nuclear energy and security is poised for recalibration. In the coming years, we can expect further developments in uranium exploration, new reactor technologies, and possibly new international frameworks for oversight. The world is watching, and the implications stretch far beyond a single mine, buried deep beneath the sands of Xinjiang.